I'm Alice. Welcome to my Women's Health series. Today, I'm going to be investigating why Alzheimer's is far more common in women than it is in men. To start with, I'm going to talk to the public. Let's see what they have to say. Okay, so my question is, did you know that Alzheimer's is far more common in women than it is in men?
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
I don't know.
No, I didn't. I didn't know that.
We don't know.
To be honest, no. I don't have information about it.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Can you think of any potential reasons why that might be the case?
Because the female species worries a lot more than the male.
I have no idea.
Really, with the drug addicts, I think so.
It's about
With the who smoke more weed and they have the dementia, they forget things. They put the phone in the one side and they forget.
And because they're more caring and not as selfish. Probably. I don't know.
Diet, genetic makeup.
Maybe women are more stressed out than men.
This concept didn't seem to be something people knew too much about, although some people had some interesting ideas. I'm now going to talk to Dr. Gillian Einstein. And yes, she is a distant cousin of Albert Einstein, said to look like him on a bad hair day. She is an expert in women's brain health and has significantly advanced our understanding in this field. A professor of psychology at the University of Toronto, the Wilfred and Joyce Posluns Chair in Women's Brain Health and Aging, and the lead of the Sex and Gender Hub for the Canadian Consortium on Neurodegeneration and Aging. Let's see what she has to say. So to start with, could you just tell me what inspired you to pursue your research?
There's very little known about women's brain health. If you go through the literature, you'll see that most studies that include women actually then their results are mixed up with men's. So you never find out what is the case for men and what is the case for women. And since women actually are the people, at least in the West, with 2/3 the cases of Alzheimer's disease, then one has to ask, what are we doing? While women are now included in clinical trials for drugs, they are very rarely studied separately from men. And so we have the cases of drugs like new drugs for Alzheimer's disease that work pretty well for the overall population when you control for sex. However, when they do look at sex differences, the drugs don't really work in women.
So Alzheimer's is a neurodegenerative disease. Would you mind just explaining what is neurodegeneration?
Neurodegeneration is the death of neurons. When neurons die, they disconnect from each other. And then the neurons down the line, because they lose their connection, they die.
So I've Googled why is Alzheimer's more common in women, and the answer on the surface seems to be, oh, it's just because women live longer. But if you dig a bit deeper, there seems to be much more to it than that. Do you think you could explain?
The diplomatic answer is yes, women live longer, and that might be part of the reason. But even if there isn't some independent reason why women get Alzheimer's, or a bunch of reasons why women, independent of aging, have more Alzheimer's disease, we certainly progress toward Alzheimer's disease differently. And the few studies that have been done have shown this, that we're diagnosed much later with Alzheimer's disease. By the time we are diagnosed, we have greater brain pathology. However, I also think that there are early life events that affect women that can actually increase our risk of Alzheimer's disease. So caregiving is a huge responsibility that's often given to women. And this induces an enormous amount of stress. And stress itself leads to things that can increase one's risk for Alzheimer's disease. So chronic stress over the lifetime can make a difference. All the treatments of women early in life, like prophylactic cancer treatments, like ovarian removal, ovarian syndromes like premature ovarian involution, or PCOS, the female athlete triad, where women who are athletes end up not menstruating because their fat to muscle ratio goes way down, and fat makes estrogens.
So, you've mentioned treatments or conditions that impair a woman's estrogen as a potential risk factor for Alzheimer's. Could you just explain why that hormone is important?
The longer you make estradiol in life, the greater your protection from late life Alzheimer's disease. If you make 17 beta estradiol, it can help maintain those connections even in the face of neuropathology that one might think affects those connections. And this might, in fact, be why women are diagnosed later with Alzheimer's disease with more pathology, because they can withstand more brain pathology because they've had a lifetime of estradiol.
It seems like the public might have been onto something when they were talking about stress as a factor that increases women's risk of Alzheimer's. It's complicated, and it sounds like there are many factors that can impact a woman through their life and early life that can increase their risk of then developing Alzheimer's in later life. But thanks to researchers like Dr. Einstein paving the way to a better understanding of women's brain health, we now have more clarity on what these factors are. Thank you for joining me today. I'll catch you next time.